Both parties are broken, and Trump is the symptom, not the cause. It is a system we've been lazy about managing as citizens because we are too focused on party politics and not focused enough on the system we enable and how that system allows a president like Trump to take power from the people. This post is a plea to you to put down your liberal or conservative or libertarian or independent or any other identity and think purely as a citizen. We want to walk through what terrifies us about Trump and why we think right or left or any other viewpoint, you need to take strong actions to stop the average citizen from getting curb stomped. This is not a culture war. This is average citizens versus power, greed, conflicts of interest, things we all must care about. So before I get into it, know this. We support both the right and left's need to vigorously and thoughtfully believe any of the following. You can rationally be pro-life because you believe in the sanctity of an unborn child and not because you hate women. You can rationally be pro-choice because you are passionate about freedom and not because you hate babies. You can rationally be pro-gun ownership because you believe conscientious and well-trained gun ownership protects you from harm, not because you love violence. You can rationally want gun control because you fear for the lives of Americans killed in mass shootings, not because you hate the Constitution. And you can rationally support stronger border enforcement because you believe a country should control its borders and not because you hate immigrants. You can rationally support more permissive immigration because you value human dignity and opportunity and not because you hate your country. So, with the backdrop that we support a healthy and vigorous dialogue on all these issues and believe the two parties are broken and their ability to handle them, we believe that it is up to us, we the people, to take matters into our own hands, outside of any party. And it is with that in view in mind that we examine where we are at with Trump. Outside of a traditional left versus right view and more from a power in the people versus power in the elite view. So there are numerous issues that should give you pause with Trump. Here are what we think should make any American start to get very concerned about the Trump direction getting more widely adopted by both parties going forward. Number one, war. There are times when war is the right answer, but it is always a failure of leadership on the part of at least one side and often both. War is absolutely the most horrific and tragic thing we as humans do. We forget that it is never about glory. War is never glorious. It always involves untold, unrecorded, and off-the-screen human suffering by the innocent. Women, children, the elderly, soldiers who go to die for duty. But Trump's approach to war has been too flippant, too much about glory, and even contrary to everything he has said about the subject. Trump not only didn't follow through on his less foreign intervention promise, he's more interventionist than we've maybe ever been. Panama, Gaza, Venezuela, Mexico, Ecuador, Iran, Colombia, Greenland. And on that Greenland point, can you imagine that if the result of Trump threats are that our traditional allies decide in the end that they need to point some of their nukes at us just as a security measure? Can you imagine those allies making that choice as a precaution about Greenland or other threats? That would be an enormous tragedy. 2, justice. If you're a mother or a father and have ever had a 14-year-old daughter, the idea of shipping them off to a distant island or ranch or penthouse to be abused and raped by billionaire criminals should make you furious. This is not a point about Trump's guilt in the Epstein situation. That's another matter. This is about his uncaring, dismissive, and unexplainable approach to a potential cover-up the world has never witnessed. Democrats have participated in the cover-up. Republicans have participated. This is not a party issue. And Donald Trump's and his administration's attitude has totally flipped on the issue. It is time we stop letting Democrats off the hook, Republicans off the hook, and absolutely ensure that a massive and thorough resolution to the Epstein crime ring gets the true, all hands on deck attention it deserves. The tragedy of this fading into the annals of history without justice because money gave criminals impunity would make we the people of this present moment guilty of not holding our leaders accountable. I have 2 daughters, I have nieces, and I think of them. If you're a man, if you're a woman, step up and don't get wishy-washy on this one. If you don't, it would send a message that the powerful can abuse our children. Number 3, drain the swamp. Donald Trump he promised us he would drain the swamp. He knew in the 2016 election that big money in politics was, as he said then, a broken system.
I'm self-funding. I'm putting up my own money. I don't have special interests telling me, here's money, Donald, and by the way, I hope you remember me in 2 years when we need something. We're going to do the right thing for the people of this country for the first time, maybe in many, many decades. I've turned down last week $5 million from somebody. So I will tell you, I understand the game. I've been on the other side all of my life, and they have a lot of control over our politicians. And I don't say that favorably. We have all donors in the audience, and the reason they're not loving me, the reason they're not loving me is I don't want their money. I'm going to do the right thing for the American public. I don't want their money. I don't need their money. And I'm the only one up here that can say that. Before 2 months ago, I was a businessman. I give to everybody. When they call, I give. And you know what? When I need something from them, 2 years later, 3 years later, I call them. They are there for me. And that's a broken system.
Yet now Trump follows the footsteps of Democratic presidential candidates from most of the cycles before him. Democrat candidates used to dominate the mega donor area. They took the money like it was fentanyl. However, Trump now gets more support from the mega rich than we have ever seen from a candidate, and it isn't even close. He didn't drain the swamp. He turned it into a pool party for the mega rich. Number 4, freedom of the press. Only a free and unrestrained press can effectively expose deception in government. Justice Hugo Black, Supreme Court Justice and U.S. Senator from Alabama. Our liberty depends on the freedom of the press, and that cannot be limited without being lost. Thomas Jefferson, President and Founding Father. If you want to preserve democracy as we know it, you have to have a free and many times adversarial press. And without it, I am afraid that we would lose so much of our individual liberties over time. That's how dictators get started. John McCain, U.S. Senator of Arizona. If Trump's approach to the press is adopted by all future presidents, think threats to FCC licenses in the face of criticism, revoking access to press briefings in the face of criticism, and supporting the acquisition of the big media companies by billionaires who now control our access to information, if these are adopted widely, there will be no one asking our presidents the hard questions. The hard questions that need to be asked about those 3 issues we just mentioned: war, Epstein, and the drain the swamp issue. They'll never get asked. And executive restraint will cease to exist. And we see numerous other actions that erode public accountability and give more power to the political class and less power to the people in the future. Things that will continue to plague us with Democrats and Republicans. Those who use these precedents to make service to the people weaker and weaker, and service to power and greed stronger and stronger. Things like deference to the courts, demonizing immigrants. We're a nation of immigrants, and demonizing them has always looked bad in hindsight throughout our entire history. Naming everything after yourself. Can it really be about us, the people, and not ego if you have to put your name on everything? destroying faith in an imperfect but very fair election system because of ego. Go read the court transcripts. There is simply no evidence of widespread fraud. This all started because Donald Trump couldn't accept that he didn't win the popular vote in 2016 and made up fraud on the spot. I think even he was surprised that it stuck. If it was real, don't you think he would spend more time investigating and exposing that fraud? Also, threatening party members with differing views. We don't want Democrats silencing dissent either. And Nancy Pelosi, as Speaker, was a particularly bad example of this as well. It's such a weakening of accountability to an elected official's constituents. All of these things weaken accountability to the public and will eventually come back to bite us all, regardless of party. This is not a party issue. Either side using these methods weakens power in the people. We become short-sighted when we let our team abuse the system, thinking the other side can't use the same tactic. Now, if you think everything Trump does is bad and he never takes widely supported actions that are really for the people, you're also not helpful. He is a president that loves adoration. Let him know when he takes actions that really are for the benefit of the people widely, especially when he reaches across the aisle. Things like publicly praising a widely Republican criticized leader in Zoran Mamdani. He did that. The first term, First Step Act for criminal justice reform of 2018. Permanently funding historically black colleges and universities with the Future Act of 2019. Project Lightspeed that got us a COVID vaccine in amazing time. Supporting the anti-institutional investor purchase of single-family homes just earlier this year. We lose the support of thoughtful people if we don't give credit where it's due. I will repeat again, we believe both parties are broken, that the accountability of politicians, of the media, of the mega-rich, of corporations, to the people has hit a low. That's on us, we the people. The system is only as good as we unitedly make it. And I'm going to turn this on its head now. It could be easy to despair. You might worry, what can the average citizen do? Those in power hold all the cards now. Here's the funny thing. The 2016 election of Donald Trump is actually a beacon for we the people. Nobody in the establishment wanted him. Not the Republicans, not the Democrats. It shows that the powers that be can be overridden by we the people. That we can still overcome the desires of money, the power of the parties, the big donors, the conflicts of interest, not to support an individual, but to support a change to the system. No electing of a candidate unwilling to make those changes. We can do that. If you're a Trump supporter, we get it. America did not do a good job watching many of your needs. That's how he got your support. He offered a lot that no other politician was offering. Sadly, we think he lost the vision of drain the swamp. And even if you still love him, at least do the minimum, that we don't cede so much power to him that all presidents, Republican or Democrat, forevermore, feel above accountability to we the people. Right now, it looks like a possibility America could lose the fight against power, greed, and conflicts of interest. Big threats loom. Wealth and affordability are moving away from the middle class. Artificial intelligence is poised as a threat like we've never seen. Politicians listen to big donors more and more, and the average citizen less and less. The media earns big profits, making us hate each other. And unless we unite to regain power, we the people might see the power we once had taken forever. The people's voice can still overcome if enough unite to fight the system and regain control. Make the direction more towards accountability to the people. How do you fight back? Support us with a like, a follow, a comment, share this video with someone you know. But much more than that, reach out. Talk with your friends and family. Hear what others have to say. Let's start talking about it. Once you've thoughtfully listened, let them know how you feel. Ask them their thoughts. A bit of listening and questions can change minds. There's more about the fight against power, greed, and conflicts of interest and the tools we have to fight them at wethepeoplearetheboss.com or WTPADB.com. That's our short one. You can get much more involved with our work there. And if you still support Trump but have reservations, how might you respond to what I've just outlined? What are we missing? What can we do to make sure that regardless of party, we have the ability to hold our leaders more accountable? We genuinely want to hear from you because it will make this an effort of all people, party-less and citizen-focused. With that, thanks for your listen. There's much more to come. And remember, in the US of A, you are the boss.